Hi, my name is Jamie O'Brien, and my paper is called This is What I Know Lasting Effects of Basque Conflict Across Generations and Oceans. It's based on interviews with a young Basque American woman and her mother. It's written as if the daughter has come to new insights about her identity as she learned her family's story from her mother. In this excerpt, I'll start with a condensed quote from the mother, interject with her daughter's reflections, and then return to the mother's voice. So, here's the mother. Francisco Franco was the dictator of Spain when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s. He had a lot of rules for the Basque people. We weren't allowed to speak Basque, celebrate our holidays, or practice any of the traditions. Franco policed Basque towns to enforce those rules, and protests were illegal. If they saw you protesting the laws, they would confine you at home. The Basque people were suffering, and there was nothing we could do about it. So, ETA, the Basque Nationalist Militia, formed. It was really difficult. They were, they were friends, enemies, family, and neighbors. We couldn't protest, we couldn't stop it. So they fought back. Now, here are the daughter's thoughts on her mother's reflections. Previously, my perception of ETA was that it was a group of violent individuals who loved the Basque country but expressed that love in the wrong ways. Since then, I've learned a lot more about this group of Basques that resisted Franco's power. I've realized that ETA existed in a gray area, advocating for the Basques in the only way they could. It is a topic that brings out conflicting emotions in me, as I've never condoned violence. But I can understand why the ETA formed, and I recognize that Franco didn't give them any other options. My mother's stories convey to me that the Basque towns are very community-centered. Harvest season meant saving a lot of your crop for yourself, but also sending packages to the other families in town. The towns were small, so everyone knew and cared for each other. So, when torturing and killing ETA members became commonplace, it wasn't nameless, faceless soldiers or terrorists being struck down. It was your neighbor whom you babysat, your friend who helped your family through a tough winter, or your schoolmate with whom you learned how to read. It was a personal attack, and the names and faces of the fallen nationalists were memorialized in recordatorios, which are little cards with the picture and name of the nationalists that would be kept in pockets or wallets. Similar to the Say Their Names movement in the US against police brutality, this practice strengthened resolve against the Spanish state. Finally, here are the mother's reflections about being Basque. Being Basque is tricky. In the US, I rarely tell people that I'm Basque. If I do, they either have no idea what that means or they assume I'm a terrorist. It's much easier to just say that I'm Spanish and be done with it. But I'm not Spanish. I'm from Spain, but I'm not Spanish. Sometimes you have to cater things to other people, but for me, only one thing matters. I am Basque. It's in my blood, it's in the food that I eat, it's in the dances that I know, and it's in my name.